So
and
like,
some of the OCD things I have, he has it like dirt will bother him on the floor. That don't bother me.
well, yeah, it's dirt on the floor.
Dust.
Hello, it's Jeffrey with Real Nifty Vintage, and we're back again today with part 2 of the Getting to Know Us video. So I've got Erin and Barb here, and there were a ton of questions answered in yesterday's video, and we're gonna do it again today. I've got some more questions. This one's a different one. What is your holy grail item amongst the things you already own, and what is the holy grail item of things you'd love to find?
Okay, I didn't really think about this that much, even though I picked this question. So of things that I already own, I technically don't own this, but I would say my Christmas present from you, that's one for sure.
Oh, the blue?
Yeah, the blue Russian Santa, because I want to find all the
colors,
all the different colored suits of Russian Santas. And then a holy grail item that I'd love to find, there's like tons of different things really. One thing, I guess we'll just stick with Santas because that's about my favorite thing, but the big Santa, there's like a 3-foot tall Russian Santa, so that would probably be one for sure.
Wow. Okay.
You can tell by my face there, I'm not into the Santas as much as she is. But
No,
anyway,
but you have holy grail. Like what would you
well,
love to find?
I don't know. I mean, big railroad items are. I mean,
Come here.
that's one of the things I collect.
Stella, come here. Come on.
Do you have like a specific railroad like kind of train light or something that you want? Or you just know it when you see it, I guess?
Yeah, I think it'll be more along those lines. Know it when I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would I want to find? I would love to find the oil and vinegar cruet set. It's like this twisted neck thing, and it has the ivy leaves on it, and it was used in I Love Lucy. Obviously not the one that they used in I Love Lucy, but yeah, that's very hard to find. I think it's made by Thompson Pottery. I have it on my eBay watch list. It never comes up, it seems. So that would be a holy grail item to find. What's the one thing you regretted selling? I've sold $100 records from my personal collection with no regrets, but I sold an adorable squirrel nightlight, and I think about it every night. Tell us some of the I shouldn't have sold that moments.
This is gonna be funny.
For you,
Yeah, because we're so opposite in this.
yeah, I know.
I regret selling a lot of things because I really, by nature, I do not have a seller kind of personality. I have a collector personality. But most of the time it's like, you know, it's a really short period of regret. It's not like I'm gonna be thinking about it for years, but there was one item that I did cry after I sold it.
Really?
And it was so weird because it kind of snuck up on me. It wasn't like when I first found it, oh, I really want to keep this. It just like snuck up on me. I was gonna take the listing off, and right like that day before I did, it sold. So it was just, it was that made by Van Tynes, that antique like Buddha bottle thing. I don't know. I had a whole setup with it, and it just was, you know, but I made like $50, so that was good.
That was a good. So why do you list things that you're not 100% ready to part with?
Well, because I have to list something
Okay.
to keep buying other items, you know.
So I don't.
It's
It goes to my opinion. I don't have these regrets because I have a little conversation with myself before I list it if I'm really ready or if I care. And so it doesn't come up like that. And I always say, look, these things aren't like, there's not just one of them for the most part. And if there is and I have a question about it, I'll hang on to it until I know a lot more about it or until I really get it out of my system. But I look at it as, well, if I really want it, I'll go pay retail. You know, and what's the worst case scenario? I just lose my profit that I made on that one item. But it's best for me just to get rid of things and cycle through, and I can always come back to an item at a later date if I really, really want it. So
yeah.
that's how I see it. Is there a reason you prefer to sell on Etsy rather than eBay? I'm from Australia, and we have Facebook Marketplace, which is very popular here. Have you sold anything on Facebook Marketplace? Okay, so I have sold things on Facebook Marketplace, but I don't like it because I don't like dealing with people. That sounds terrible.
I've sold a lot on there with kids stuff, not antiques. Like around here in our small area, the vintage and antique items I don't think sell very well on there. Wouldn't you agree or not?
Well, there are a couple sellers, and I've seen them at auctions even, and they do sell things on Facebook, but I don't know at what rate they're selling them. My thing, and I said it, I don't like dealing with people. I don't like dealing with flaky people who, and that has a lot to do with like this Facebook in general. Like people say, oh, I want this, and then they don't follow through, or they ask 100 questions that are in the description and they don't follow through, or they, so there's a lot of that, and I've dealt with a lot of that. So it sort of turns me off from the whole Facebook marketplace thing. The reason I sell on Etsy is because I always preferred Etsy as a shopper. So this was in 2016, 2015, whenever I was just buying things on the platform. And I liked how everything was sort of streamlined on there, and it was just really easy to navigate, and I liked the app. What I didn't like about Facebook was all the ads popping up, and it was kind of a clumsy looking system. And I don't know, but isn't that kind of strange? I don't know why I like Etsy over eBay. It's the UIs, the user interface. So I just have a greater feel of Etsy. So that's why I sold on there. I understood it because I bought from there. And I guess a lot of it was I was seeing the prices that people were asking on Etsy, and I liked it. So I put it on Etsy. So that's why. But I will also say there are other reasons. The fees are cheaper. Etsy has always sided with me when I was in the right, and I've heard lots of horror stories of eBay not doing that. So it's a good company. Considering you are a reseller, do you think that living in a small town is an asset or a burden? Okay, I'll start with that. It's a two-part question. Do I think it's an asset or a burden? I think it's an asset. And I don't know if I was living in a more populated area if I think that that's an asset. But I like that there doesn't seem to be as much competition over here, and people hold on to their stuff longer. We have a lot of people living to, they're staying here. It's not like they're moving to like California or wherever and they're dumping their stuff before they move. So I feel like the stuff stays here longer in the families. Probably similar to up in Philadelphia though. But the problem with that, I think there's more competition up there. But then again, maybe there's more stuff too, so it balances out. I just say I like this area, and I'm comfortable with the rate at which I'm able to buy things.
The only aspect I would say it would be more considered more of a burden is not necessarily a burden, but
drive.
And then also about Facebook Marketplace again. If we lived in St. Louis, I feel like we could sell a lot of items on there.
There's not, like, this town has about 2,000 people in it. All the neighboring towns about that, and they're with like 15 minutes away, here, there, everywhere. Also, Aaron, aside from trains, do you have any other interests?
Well, there's three things that jump into my mind other than trains that I can mention. One of them is I like to do lawn care work, gardening stuff. We don't have a garden here, but my folks do. And I always, as a kid, enjoyed helping them with that. And then I like going to baseball games, which is another thing. He's not big on doing the baseball games, but I would like to be going. I would like to be going to Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals. That's the team I like because we live near there. I'm not a Cubs fan, just so you know. And then traveling is a big interest of mine. I've done a lot of traveling with my mom back in the day, and I hear birds chirping on a clock that we have. I love that clock. But anyway. And then I also, when I'm traveling, love to go to new restaurants.
Oh, you have a lot of interest. It makes me sound so boring. I didn't realize
those are
all
just
the
a
things.
few
That's true. I wouldn't be able to think of that
Just a few things off the top of my head there.
And those are all true. You love food. That's mostly all he thinks about. Like, where are we going to eat? And then you like planning trips all the time. You want to plan like all of the activities. That bores me. He brings it up all the time. Okay, and tomorrow we're doing this at I just tune him out. And so that's interesting.
I don't know if he knew about the gardening thing, but I do like doing it.
Gardening?
Gardening.
When have you planted a flower?
My folks have a garden. I worked in it all those years.
Oh, you're talking about like vegetables and being a farmer and
Dell.
And
then I like doing lawn care, and that's one of the other jobs I do anyway in the spring, summer, and fall. So
if anybody in the area needs lawn care.
I'm not wanting to grow that too significant.
Oh, okay.
I like dealing with the stuff working for him. So
we opened a booth and my vintage stuff isn't selling at all. Very disappointed. I have from furniture to salt and pepper shakers. Any recommendations? Okay, so what I would say, I would start with asking the mall owner or other other people that have antique booths and get their input of what's selling for them. I would also maybe take a mental note of how the booth traffic is doing in general, or the mall traffic. So figure out, does the mall have a lot of people coming through it? If it doesn't, well, that's part of your problem. But if it does, then it falls back on the first answer that I gave. So without knowing the specifics of anything else, I can't really answer anything. Do you have any other ideas? Like, you don't have a booth, but
Right.
But from a customer standpoint, what would make things not sell? Also,
Maybe not
Are you-
having your booth too crowded. That can be
That-
bad.
yeah.
If it's super crowded,
And
like
you
where
gotta,
you can't
and you
walk.
gotta
Or
move
not
items
enough.
around.
or not enough.
Yeah.
Move items around
Yes.
often.
You need to move them around, keep things looking fresh, like you are adding new things to the booth more often than you are. Running sales. So I would put that in line with what other people are doing. Are other people running a lot of sales? Because if they are, well, then maybe people are just skipping by yours because all your stuff is regularly priced. So
We know that when we're at an antique mall and we find something, we're constantly like, is it on sale? And even
Yeah.
if it's 10%, that a lot of times
It makes
convinces us to buy it.
it actually makes us look harder in the booth.
Yeah.
So if the booth has 10, 20%, we're going to look longer and harder in that booth to find something, to justify getting something because it's on sale. It's a total brain warp, but that's what I can say. But maybe the first thing is ask the mall owner. Get a gauge on how you are doing compared to other people. Okay, another one. Would you recommend for someone who lives in a remote, small town who wants to start a YouTube channel but has limiting picking sources? What would you recommend? Start small, not at all. Well, if you really want to do it, I would say do it. Whether the size of the town, we live in a small town. No, you can post a video once a week, once every 2 weeks, whenever it feels comfortable to you based on what you're able to accomplish. So if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel, I would just say do it, and everything else will sort of fall in line and it'll work for you. I wouldn't suggest do it not at all unless you are kind of wishy-washy about it, but I would say give it a shot if you want to try it. Here's one for you. Does Barb's husband have any interest in antiques and collectibles?
As of right now, he really doesn't. Every once in a while, like maybe 1 out of 100 or 200 that I bring home, he might think something is a little bit cool. But I think that when all the kids are older and he starts going maybe to some auctions and this and that, I think he could find his, something he was into a little bit.
What, does he have any interests out, like, he's not really a commercially person, like he doesn't like things, it seems like.
Yeah, he's not too interested in,
Even if they're new.
yeah, he definitely doesn't collect anything. Except, well, he likes comic books, certain.
Really? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
some.
Oh.
Not like old vintage ones, just
Oh.
certain
Oh.
series. I don't know. Him and his dad are into that, so that's one thing maybe.
Interesting. Also, how old are your children?
Okay. They are 12, 9, 6, and 4.
All over the
A
place.
boy, a girl, a boy.
Wow. Okay, and then how long have you, we talked about
Since September of 2012, we have been
Together.
official.
Okay, and we're not married and we don't have any plans to be. That sounds so terrible.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just not in what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people want that officialness to it. Some people just, I almost protest to the idea in some ways. And
I don't see
We're
anything wrong
both on
with
this
it.
in agreement on that. I mean, we're just
the only things I would wish and miss out on is the financial benefits of taxes and maybe some of the legal, and I don't know, like with health things, if like I ever ended up in the hospital, I don't know what they would do, but it
Oh.
seems like nowadays, I don't know how they do it. If like they
Can you
let,
give anybody a power of attorney type of thing?
yeah, I guess that's another.
Hmm.
So we don't really have a reason to. Seems like more hassle than it's worth, honestly.
Yeah.
How old is Stella?
well, we got her in wait a minute. We got her in September also of 2012. So basically, she's similar age to our relationship.
So when she dies, so does our relationship.
No. Then we get a new dog.
Oh boy. And it says, why is it so hard to get to know you?
hard to get to know me. I guess I'm not way social till the other person talks to me first. I think that's a good answer to
It's
that.
not going to happen here.
No, I know. So that you might be out of luck.
I mean, you've got to know him in yesterday's video quite a bit, so go watch that one. You learn a lot of interesting things.
Did you skip that one on purpose or not?
Which?
This one?
Oh, no, it just... How many items can or do you list in an hour? Okay, it's a two-part question. So that question, we list about 5 things an hour. And that was what I was able to hit. And you're a little bit slower than that.
I'll be optimistic and say 4 in an hour.
Yeah.
It depends on if I'm in the groove, I can do that. I think I have done 5 in an hour before. But if I'm on one of those days where I'm not focused, then it's probably maybe 3.
Did I say 5? I meant 6.
Oh, good. Okay, then 5. I've probably never done 6. You've done that. I don't know.
It's 10 minutes per listing. For some reason, I thought 50 minutes was an hour.
If you're on a good day, you get in a focused groove and you're good. But some days when you struggle, it's less.
Yeah.
It depends for me if I've done all the research ahead of time too, because sometimes I'll be trying to figure out what the price is for a few minutes, or
Well, it breaks down like this. So to measure it is about 30 seconds. To photograph it is about a minute. For the draft, it's about another minute. That's to take the thing and make just a simple draft on Etsy. Then the remainder of that time could be spent with price and just information research to...
It would take me longer than that for those sections. Not super long.
Overall, it takes me longer than it does him. He's just magical.
No, it's just that, you do things over and over and you get a thing down. How old is Stella? Oh wait, we just did that one.
Yep, we did that one.
This was one of my favorite questions when I saw it.
Oh, you see.
Right there. Says Aaron, what is your biggest pet peeve about Jeffrey?
I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. If I think of something, I'll chime in.
So you're being nice, because last night you had one.
I don't know about that.
Well, he's not going to say. You could say what yours is about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm all ears.
Biggest pet peeve. Over-explaining every situation to me. So he'll tell me what we're doing for the next week, all in one setting. Tomorrow, he'll tell me the same explanation of the 4 days plus the next one. It's like I have a constant flow.
Oh, I thought he does not clean up after himself as far as food laying around, putting things away. The sink's all wet, water all over the place around it. I gotta clean all that up. Those are negatives.
Let's get real. I wash the dishes.
He does.
And when he's talking about mess, we're talking about water droplets around the sink. That's not like, oh, you didn't get the water off the sink.
I'm surprised that you clean up, because you never cleaned up when you lived at home.
No, I'll let mom and dad handle that.
And let me take this to another level of his OCD.
Yeah, I have
So
that.
we were talking about like the whole, tell me about my whole life, what we're doing in the next year. But he has to have the sink faucet in a certain orientation.
Yes. Before we leave the house, you bet.
He goes through every room and looks at it to make sure everything's still there, I guess.
I've done this. I did that back at mom and dad's, but a lot more since we've had this house.
You're just slow in general. So like everything that we do, you like double check, triple check. And then he pulls into the garage, like he pulls into the car and that's not he pulls in.
Wow.
He pulls the car up into the driveway. I get out. I'm in the house for about 5 minutes while he's dilly-dallying. What's he doing? I don't know. He stops. He looks at the garage.
It don't take that long.
He looks inside of his car as he's getting out just to make sure everything's in there still. He shuts the door. He comes over to the other door. He looks around the backyard a little bit to make sure all the leaves are in place.
No.
Oh,
it isn't that extreme. I think he's going a little overboard.
No, you're ridiculous. So that gets a little bit bonkers. And so in some ways we have that juxtaposition that's, I don't know. So, and it's funny because it's kind of like the opposites. So
And
like,
some of the OCD things I have, he has it like dirt will bother him on the floor. That don't bother me.
well, yeah, it's dirt on the floor.
Dust doesn't
That's
bother
a
me.
normal thing that would bother someone.
I don't know. OCD has different
I don't like dust
things.
on things, and I don't like dirt on things.
That don't bother me.
You don't care about dust. You like your dust can be a dust storm, but as long as all the notebooks are in like line with
Yeah.
each other, that's
He
That's
probably
it.
doesn't care about dust because dusting requires you to move the things, and he wants them
Yeah.
to stay just how they are.
Yeah, good point.
okay. Enough. Do you have some pointers on shipping? Okay, I do. Get my book. No, I'm joking. So I do have a reselling book that tells a lot about the shipping, but one tip I could say is make sure you have padding on all 6 sides of the item. So the item would then be floating in the center of the box. The bottom, the top, the side, the side, the side, the side. Because, was that you or was that the UPS man?
I have no idea.
Okay. So yes, definitely make sure you've got your items in the center of the box. That's like my one big tip. But if you would like more, I have a reselling book. I'll put the link in the link is always in the description. Just click it and you'll get to my Amazon ebook. And you don't have to have an Amazon Kindle thing. You can. Okay. How did you get Stella? And do you have any other pets? You can explain this. How did we get Stella?
Well, actually, a friend of it's a friend of both a friend of ours now, but at the time it was a friend of Jeffrey's. Somehow knew about this litter of dogs, and we ended up getting her up north of us. I don't know if I explained it any better than that.
So, Stella was born. She had like 8 or 10 different dogs in this litter, and they were born under a porch outside. And this was around, I guess the dog would have been born around August or September.
We think July of 2012.
Okay, July. And so they let us know. We were looking for a dog, or I was especially, and we were alerted to that opportunity, and we went over to look at the dogs, and there was a rat terrier and a Westie for the bride and groom. For the
For the what?
For the
Mom and dad.
Mom and dad. And so the dogs all came running out from under the porch, and we were watching them run in the backyard, and I was like, I don't know which one to get because they all look very similar. So the best thing I could think to do is get the one that was the slowest. What I did here with this one. No.
2 slows in the house. There you go.
So I picked the one that looked like it was going to be tame and sort of gentle and easy to work with. And for the most part, I think she's really been that. She just sighed. That's fine.
She knows we're talking about her.
Our friend actually got 2 of the dogs and completely different experience. Those dogs are
Really?
Yeah, they're all over. They're not as
They got more rat terrier than Westie.
they got
One
more
of them
energy.
for sure does have
Energy.
more rat terriers.
So that's how we got her. She was free. When we got her, she had worms, fleas, and we had to get that all taken care of course. And now she is worm and free. Worm and free. Worm and flea free. There you go.
Do you have other pets?
We do not have any other pets.
Might get another dog eventually.
He wants another dog. I don't want another dog.
But I don't know when. Because then if we get a new dog now, that messes up trips because
That's exactly right. And I
Mom
don't
and
like
Dad aren't gonna
stressing
wanna-
the dog out. She seems like she's an only child to me. So
I don't think she would like another dog.
I
dogs
think
as they get older get more stuck in their ways, and they
Yeah.
don't want.
the reality of it is
She's actually mad, I think, that I'm not sitting over there with her on the couch.
She looks mad.
The reality,
sad.
What are you over there?
the reality of it is we're probably going to get a dog sometime after she's not here.
And the thing is, I have to hear this like every week.
I mention it sometimes
Every
when I see a
week you
cute
mention
dog.
it. You do. You're like, when she dies, we're gonna get. I'm like, will you stop talking about when she's gonna die? Jeez, isn't that terrible?
It doesn't sound good, but he doesn't mean he wants her to die.
I don't know.
We
He's ready for
know.
another dog. You seem okay. This one here. Do you think you will continue with your 3 booths next year? Okay, I don't know. I think I will keep for sure 2 booths, but I don't know about 3. So
I think that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen the way it happens. It's going to be a natural thing, and I'll just kind of get a feel for how things are going. And then how do you keep your inventory moving so it doesn't build up? I don't know. How do I keep it moving?
I guess if it's building up, you might have to take some items out of the booth that you.
So if you're talking about building up in the booth, I go through, and I just did a video of this, where I went through the booth and we pulled things that have been sitting for too long. But for the most part, things do sell, and by putting them on sale, like percentage off sales booth wide, that'll also get inventory to move. And I donate things. So I donate things that don't sell, and then I list a very few amount of things online that didn't do well in the booth. Karen Knickerbocker, love that name. How long have you been a full-time reseller, and what other careers have you had? I think we'll take this, well, we're not all full-time resellers.
That's just you.
But we'll take this along. I have been doing this full-time since I think 2017. No, wrong, right?
I don't remember. That sounds right. Or 2016?
No, full-time.
Oh, right. I think 2017.
Well, maybe it was April 17 you quit, because it was that same year that I was not working much, besides doing some more stuff here.
I don't know. So, anyways, what was I saying? Okay, and I did graphic design before that. I worked at a t-shirt print shop for not a long time, and then before that I worked at another t-shirt print shop for about, was it 4 years?
Yeah, it was 17 when you stopped that job.
You still on that? So I've been doing this full-time stuff since 2017
because we moved here in July of 15 and you were still in Granite. Then you got that other job late 15, did it all 16, early 17, and then you stopped. I know, I got that down pat now.
Time flies.
It does.
We're having fun.
We're almost to 2020.
So I'm going to be going on 3 years soon?
I think.
Wow. Okay. In just like 4 months, right? Wow. Okay, so I was basically doing graphic design for my whole professional career. Before that, I worked at a gas station.
Ice cream.
And before that, I worked at an ice cream shop, and that's it. You go ahead.
Oh gosh.
You worked at that antique mall, you said.
Yeah, that was in addition to like 1 or 2 other jobs. It was for a short time. I worked at PetSmart for a long time when I was in college. In high school, I worked at a little store in town. Let's see. And then my degree's in a bachelor's in psychology, which if you have a bachelor's in psychology, you probably know that you might not be able to do much with that. But let's see, after that I worked at a daycare for a little while, and then I got a job as a nanny that I really liked, and then I had kids, and that was about that.
Okay, right after high school, went to a community college for 2 years, got the associate's degree. I haven't really done much with that, because mainly I've done a lot of smaller type jobs. The longest job I've done out of all the ones I've had is Subway, but I just let that go after about I think I was there 3 years or something like that. So.
And now you work for Real Nifty Vintage.
Yeah, hopefully this turns out to be the main thing, and then we can both retire at the same time.
That's a whole other thing, retiring. Which is probably another whole video. I could talk about how I'm preparing for that, which I am. So about 5 years I'll be written. No, I'm joking. So I forgot, I did also go to college as well for my graphic design degree. So since everybody else said college, I don't want to seem like the dunce.
I do have to figure I'm going to be in trouble because my youngest goes to kindergarten next year. So that's more pressure to make some extra money because I've been home because they've been home. So yeah, I'm going to have to step it up on reselling or do something else. We'll see. Yeah,
maybe I can find you something to do.
Maybe.
Okay. Now this is interesting. Which one do we want to, okay, here's an easy one. Are all your parents living? Yes, they are all living. Their parents are actually older than mine, which is, I always find that strange. You probably find it kind of normal because that's what you grew up with, but your parents are in your mid-70s.
I think growing up, my parents were older than I would say the majority of parents. They weren't like there was other friends I had that had older parents, but they were on the older side for me. And so then definitely for him because he was 5.5 years younger. So
yeah. Yeah, a lot of them thought it was grandparents I was with. Yeah, got that plenty.
They do. They that's what you get when you got them older, or when you.
Anyway.
So, and then my mom is 50, so that's only 20 years difference than I am. And then my biological dad, I think he's a little younger. Maybe he's like 49. So, and then, yeah, stepdad, 7 years older than mom, so about 57. So even still, they're a lot younger than you guys.
Yeah.
Than your parents. How did you acquire your knowledge of antiques and vintage items? So the knowledge that you see on the haul videos, that comes with just doing it. And you do it and you start seeing things whenever you're researching. And because it's something that we enjoy, you're able to retain the knowledge easier. So that's how you acquire the knowledge. You'd probably agree.
Yeah, you could just spend time, I guess, technically looking a lot of things up online, but actually,
You have to apply it.
yeah, it's definitely better.
So having a physical item in your hand, seeing things in the stores, that is really what drives it home, and it kind of locks it in.
And even sometimes when we're like, at an auction and we're talking to, a reseller that's been doing it for years, we sometimes learn stuff too.
Yeah. Says who is older. We talked about in the last video, but you are older.
Yeah, I'm 5.5 years older.
I'm actually the youngest one here. Not by much though. You're 31.
32 now. I'll be
32.
33 coming up in January 28th.
And I'm 30.
I'm old enough that I almost just had to think how old I am. 38. Yeah. No, 30. I think I'm 38, right?
Born in 81, right?
You don't know. We don't know.
You were born in 89.
And this kind of falls in line. Where did you attain most of your vintage knowledge? Probably the same way.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of it is all just, us doing stuff together, going to places,
We learn from each other, and like I'll bring up something and then she'll look at it, and it's vice versa, and so it really helps. Kind of like a school environment sometimes. And how many research books do I have? About that many.
I probably only have
Maybe more.
I don't have a whole lot. Maybe that many.
Yeah. What is my favorite book? I don't have a favorite. I like the 50s, 40s glassware books that I've got. I also like the California pottery book that I've got.
That's what most of mine are, California pottery. Ooh, I just realized I forgot a holy grail item that I always look for.
Oh.
It's a California pottery item made by Hetty Shoup, and it's called what is it called? It's a cat, and there's a specific name for it, but it's got a different face on each side of it. It's cool.
Oh, I think you showed that to me.
Yeah, and another one just sold for like over $100. I'm never gonna get one online. I need to find one in an old antique store in the corner somewhere.
I was wondering if Aaron acquired his love of trains from having family that worked for the railroad.
No, they did not.
No, your dad was a math teacher.
Dad's actually into older cars, that he has some older ones.
Can you hear her?
Yeah,
She's
I've
like
been hearing that the whole time.
She's like so upset that I'm over here.
That's why.
She wants me to be sitting over there.
It's like
That dog is spoiled.
All right, this is going to be the last question, so we're going to wrap this baby up with a bow. I just pictured a baby with a bow. Okay, what is your biggest score, or sale, rather?
Okay. I thought maybe I had one that I had made like $100 on, but as of what's sold right now, I don't. But it was a Fire King Jadeite sugar bowl, and I made when you don't count fees, I made $80. I sold it for $85, and I think I paid $5, so. I have a couple others that were close to that.
So wait, you paid $5 and you sold for $80?
$85.
So, yeah, $80 profit pretty much minus shipping and
Yeah.
or minus fees.
Yeah.
Do you know my answer? Because I don't.
Well, okay, one would have to be the mermaids.
Yeah, that was like.
And what about the screens, the ones that were back there for so long? Were they not that?
They sold. I'm terrible at this question because I don't remember that.
I think at the time the mermaid sold, I think that was it then.
I think so. So it's about like a $200. The Rosewood.
Oh yeah.
The Rosewood abacus that sold for $250 that I paid like $2 for. And that was just a freak thing because it's rosewood and very collectible because of it. So that was strange. I wish I could like sort on.
That's crazy.
What?
1957. Oh, by the way, I have 98 sales. 2 more sales to 100.
You sound like me with my YouTube channel compared to Jeffrey's.
Can I
On the
sort by
trains.
highest price?
That's
oh
what
wait,
I was
price.
thinking.
There we go. High to low.
Oh, you just said low to high.
No, high to low.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
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 Oh,
So
that
the
was a
screens
deal.
were second.
Darn.
First thing that's okay, I sold these vintage McKee milk glass.
Forgot about
They're
them.
sailboats. They were 3 mixing bowls, and oh no, they were refrigerator dishes because they had the lids. Do you remember where I got those?
Yeah. Wait,
Were
was
they-
that where it was the auction that we were at that time and we waited and waited? That was something McKee sailboat, but I don't remember if it was this set or not. I want to say it was. Pretty sure.
Or did I buy these off of somebody from Facebook Marketplace, or was that a different McKee?
Right. There's 2 different things.
How long
of
ago
that,
was
so.
this that you
I don't think I paid more than $50 or $60 for these,
When did that sell?
and it sold for $395.
I forgot about all this stuff.
Yeah,
the
me too.
mermaids aren't even like in the top 8.
I know. I sold the large Asian panels for $339. Now, mind you, shipping was included in that, and so that was like a good
Oh.
$40 of it. So it's around $300. So I guess the most I've ever made profit was around $300. And then I sold this Christmas tree here too.
Yeah,
I
forgot about that.
And then the crystal sailboat for $300. The rain lamp for $255 that I paid $30 for.
Of course, Pyrex should have been in there somewhere.
Pyrex butter print. I can't believe, honestly, now that I'm looking at it, that they went for that much.
Yeah.
$225. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.